hello, my name is Creostix, and welcome back to Vampyr. And if it's pronounced vampire, that's fine, but everyone knows what I'm talking about when I say the game Vampyr, so it's all good, I hope. Yes. Anyhows, we did the optional quest, or I assume it's an optional quest, a side quest about the wallet, and we found out information about Milton there, which is... we talked to him already, that should be fine. Right, maybe just go find our office
Dr.
then.
Swansea is right. This place seems perfect to conduct my research.
Okay.
The pain. It's here again.
Hi.
Good evening, sir. Can I help you?
Unless you're here to fix my face. No. I don't think you can help me.
I'm Dr. Reed. I've recently taken the position of head surgeon here. War injuries, am I right?
You guessed right, Doctor. German shell took my pretty little mug right off. But they still call me Thomas Elwood.
Okay.
Soldier, do you need assistance?
I'm fine. Just do something for this pain, will you? That's all I'm asking.
Interesting.
How is your stay with us, Mr. Elwood?
Oh, it's bliss. I just escaped death in the trenches to be surrounded again by the moans of the dying.
Can I ask you precisely why you're a patient here?
It's the pain, sir. The drugs don't work. It just hurts under the scars, if you get my drift.
Who is treating you? Is someone in particular looking after your case?
Nobody since the old and tired doctor spoke to me. Started to think I was forgotten about. Wouldn't blame you.
You don't seem worried by that.
My face hurts so much more when I smile or cry. I've learned it's easier not to speak. But be assured I'm smiling inside.
Can I do anything for your pain?
Nurses gave me a bunch of pills. No effect. Told you. It's like the flames are under my skin, burning away.
I see.
Where were you stationed, sir? Did you serve for long?
I really don't want to talk about all this shit.
No offense. I was pushing too much. I served in France myself. I just wanted to know what happened to you.
You were an officer, weren't you? Then I doubt we fought the same war, sir. No offense.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Elwood.
Fear and disgust on every
Not an
street
expert on
corner.
how that worked, but
Daily
sure.
routine.
Oh, isn't that the
Good evening, Mr. Hampton.
Yes,
How do you feel?
Hampton.
Dr. Reed, is it? Oh, sir, I must apologize for my behavior.
What do you mean?
I was not myself in the factory. Fear and exhaustion made me say awful things to you, I'm afraid.
You remained perfectly nice and polite. A little delirious, perhaps. But who wouldn't be after enduring an abduction?
Thank you, Doctor. That's a relief. Now all I need to do is rest and return to my flock.
How did you end up in William Bishop's den?
I had received alarming news about his recent behavior. I went to his place and he refused to let me go.
I see. Why?
Why did he abduct you?
William was an alcoholic. His addiction suddenly changed to blood. I don't know why. Just like a patient I met here. This Miss Hawcroft.
Interesting.
You dared to enter this awful place alone. You're a hero, Mr. Hampton. Or a fool.
I'm just a man trying to help his friends, Dr. Reed. William Bishop was a conflicted soul, searching for light.
I see. Tom Watts.
Do you know Tom Watts? The bartender from the Turtle. I met him before I found you in the canning factory.
Tom? Yes, of course. Always the helping hand, good old Tom. Without men like him, corruption and despair would have wiped out the East End long ago.
People are still in despair.
How could it be otherwise? The authorities have left us all to rot in this contagious nightmare. No drugs, no advice, nothing. It's a damn shame.
Right, corruption.
Who should I avoid in this part of town, then? Any particularly evil figures?
Not really. Most men and women are just doing their best. And it's not my habit to speak ill of people I know, Doctor.
What is the general situation in the East End docks?
The situation has always been tough, with a lot of tensions between the gangs and the Dockers trade union. The Wet Boot Boys are very nervous since they lost their leader.
I see. Who leads?
Who leads the gang now?
Since Clay Cox went missing, it's his wife Edwina who runs the show, with the assistance of her minion, Booth Digby.
Oh, Clay Cox is... Oh.
Has the gang been threatening you?
Ah, no. I've had this nickname for so long. You know, the sad saint of the East End. No one dares to bug a saint. Not even criminals.
Okie dokie. Made friends.
Have you made friends since you arrived?
Not really. But I recognize Miss Harriet Jones. I knew her when she lived by the docks. That poor woman had such a miserable life.
You never came to see her here at Pembroke? Receiving visits when sick can be an important part of the healing process, you know. We're not just bodies.
You're preaching to the converted now, Doctor. To be truly honest, I thought she was dead. She left the docks many months ago.
What do you do for a living, Mr. Hampton? I can't help but notice the cross around your neck.
I manage a night asylum for the poor and homeless of the docks. And I try to guide the lost and hesitant on the right path to our Lord.
Oh. So, why not use a cross against William?
Why didn't you use your cross against William Bishop? To repel him somehow?
That's a very strange question, Doctor. A cross is no magical token, if that's what you were trying to say. Not mine, anyway.
Okay.
Are you a priest, Mr. Hampton?
Didn't know that.
A deacon, maybe?
Not at all, Doctor. I'm just a man of faith willing to preach the good word.
I see. How do you feel?
How do you feel, Mr. Hampton? Medically speaking, I mean.
I feel exhausted. Beyond exhaustion, actually. William drank so much of my blood in his madness. I feel empty.
You're in good hands here. Dr. Swansea is well versed in blood transfusion, and I'm sure he'll take the best care of you.
Thank you, sir. I believe all I need is rest. And then I can go back to the people who need me.
Okie
Goodbye,
dokie.
Mr. Hampton. We'll talk again later.
I mean, we did learn the notion that that not all crosses work, which is okay.
Damn. The pain. It's here again.
In the name of mercy, they depend on you. Nurses are needed now. Inquire at the nearest appointments office of the Ministry of Labour and National Service of Right to 15 King Waste, London.
On every street corner. The daily routine.
Prevent disease. Do not cough in public. Careless spitting, sneezing, coughing spread influenza. Spread by droplets sprayed from nose and throat. Do not cough in public. Still applies. This is the door I checked before. This is, yeah, that's fine. I checked inside of that door. There was a... where did the guy go? Or... I think this is... Oh, unknown. I see. Hi.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. I believe we're going to be colleagues.
Reed, yes, I've been informed about your arrival. I'm Waverly Ackroyd. Welcome aboard, I suppose.
Does my arrival inconvenience you in some way, Dr. Ackroyd?
Let us just say that I don't particularly share Dr. Swansea's enthusiasm for hiring you. What we need here are reliable professionals, not overrated dabblers.
I see. Medical checkup.
Do you need my assistance?
Not at all. I'm sure that you are used to gaining people's trust with your impressive skills. Well, it will not be the case with me.
I see. Friendly and polite, I see.
If you have a problem with me, Dr. Ackroyd, please feel free to tell me.
Dr. Swansea has imposed your presence on this hospital without asking anyone's advice. The benefit of his position. But I don't agree with it.
I know we've never met before, but I believe this hospital could use all the help it can get. You will agree with that, I'm sure.
Oh, but I have heard about you, Dr. Reed. Of course, you can't say the same about me, since I have not wasted my time courting the press.
I mean, our face is like the palest thing with just like weird veins going on and just bloodshot eyes and everything. It's fine.
There is no need for such animosity between us. Don't you think the epidemic is already enough to deal with?
That is one point we could agree on. And that is precisely why I want to be sure that you will be of help to this hospital instead of a burden.
I see.
Since your tenure in this hospital is longer than mine, perhaps you can tell me more about this place.
Let's just say I'm tired of the carelessness around me. I have always respected the skills of Dr. Swansea, but over time his enthusiasm has become displaced.
Carelessness? Exactly what are you talking about?
We're here to save lives. The people who trust us are not volunteering for experimentation. They're here to be healed.
I don't intend to run any radical experiments, Doctor. Even if I, as any good practitioner should, express an interest in pushing the boundaries of medical research.
Modern medical methods were created through audacity and ego. But there are rules in our line of work, and they're here to protect our patients.
Interesting. So, Waverly disapproves of modern medicine methods. I see. But if the rules are... I don't know what the rules are in this place yet, so I'm not sure. Right. Bad memories?
It seems you have bad memories of your military service.
I refuse to see this industrial slaughter as scientific progress. War only reveals the worst in men.
We can at least agree on something, Dr. Ackroyd. I don't know what you've heard about me, but I have already proved my value as a practitioner.
I don't question your skills, Dr. Reed, but your motive. Is it money, fame, or are you truly dedicated?
And what exactly is that supposed to mean?
I served in the war just like you. But unlike you, I did not use the wounded to play the modern sorcerer.
Be careful what you insinuate, Dr. Ackroyd.
I only want you to admit you used those men to improve your theories.
I have saved many lives, no reason to justify my actions. Do you acknowledge as our main weapon? I don't exactly know what our character did in the war. I wasn't like this happened before my time, you see.
This is ridiculous. My blood transfusion technique saved many lives, and you know it.
You see? That is exactly what I hate about people like you. You avoid this kind of accusation instead of facing reality.
Which is? Right.
Thank you for your time. We'll talk later.
Okie dokie. I mean, not everyone can be friends. Dorothy Crane. How do you make like you know, clean notes with all those bloody hands? That's impressive.
Will this shift never end?
Oh, unknown. Hi.
Good evening, Doctor. I believe we're going to be working together.
Dr. Reed. Dr. Swansea informed us of your arrival, but I could not dare to believe we'd have such good fortune.
What a weird
Such
angle.
An honor, sir.
Thank you. And you
I'll take this.
I am Thoreau Strickland, Dr. Thoreau Strickland. I'm a great admirer of your work, Dr. Reed.
Okay, so the opposite of the other guy over there. Interesting how it's your life in London and personal questions are the main like genre topics. I wouldn't have thought of that to be
Please,
the
could you
case.
tell me something about yourself?
I'm a great admirer of your work concerning blood transfusion, Dr. Reed. I run my own experiments. I'm convinced it's the future.
Okie dokie. Tell me.
I based my technique on my mentor's research. He helped me perfect my method. What is yours?
I'd rather not talk about it. For now, it's just theories and first approach. My process is purely experimental and unsuccessful.
As long as you're cautious and methodical, you may remain empty-handed, but you won't fail.
You're not the first one to warn me, but I am convinced knowledge is the main weapon against the ravages of this epidemic.
The exact same words I had a choice to use in the conversation with the other doc. That knowledge is the main weapon. Interesting.
What made you choose to be a doctor?
I'm not ashamed to admit you and your work have inspired me. I am honored to have the opportunity to work by your side.
Glad to hear.
It's always a pleasure to share scientific and medical knowledge with someone eager to learn. I'll be glad to help you if I can.
This epidemic may be the century's most terrible disaster, but I'm convinced that we, as doctors, are the only ones able to defeat it.
Right.
What can you tell me about the Pembroke?
Well, it has always been an honor to work with Dr. Swansea. But with your arrival, I can't think of a better opportunity to learn about blood transfusion.
I can transfuse blood from like veins into my via my teeth into the mouth. It's very intricate. Yes.
You seem quite optimistic. It's a rare and precious attitude in these difficult times.
I'm convinced that this epidemic is a test of endurance and dedication for us men of science.
Questions remain about our capacity to resolve the situation.
True. Last summer, during the first wave of the epidemic, I used to joke with Milton about the extra work. We're not smiling now.
Do you need help with anything in particular?
Well, yes, maybe. I'm waiting for a batch of products I ordered for my personal research, yet my supplier seems to have vanished.
Do you want me to play the errand boy for you?
Oh no, Dr. Reed. But if you went personally to his shop...
So you do want me to?
All, he wouldn't dare to refuse the products I need.
I see. Well, give me the address, for I may pass by if I have time.
Okie dokie. Ackroyd's aversion of modern methods.
What do you think of Dr. Ackroyd's aversion to modern medical methods?
It's a shame he's so narrow-minded. Dr. Swansea taught me that science is about exploring uncharted territory. I'm convinced that's true.
With the influenza and all that's going on, you should put your differences aside, don't you think? Why is it so difficult to work together?
I believe that if Dr. Ackroyd had been the one to discover the transfusion process, he would be the first to recommend its use.
So you believe it's just a question of jealousy and pride?
Dr. Ackroyd is as proud as he is blinded by his obsolete concept of medical science.
I see.
Do you need my medical attention, dear colleague?
You don't have to worry about me, Dr. Reed. I am here to assist you, not to be a burden.
You seem a little, you're like waving around a lot.
Tell me more about your willingness to experiment with new medical techniques.
Speech
Harvey
craft.
Fiddick is a patient suffering from a severe injury that could cripple him if not treated correctly. I'm convinced your blood transfusion technique could help him.
What is it you really want? To save him, or to prove your point?
Fair question. I want nothing but to save my patient, Dr. Reed. Especially since I know Mr. Fiddick's story.
Weeble, they wobble but don't fall down, I see. Sure, tell me story.
Tell me Mr. Fiddick's story.
Our first diagnosis was compromised because Mr. Fiddick lied to us about the real origin of his injury. He first claimed it was an accident.
But why would he hide such crucial information from us?
Because he is a proud father. Ashamed of putting his children at risk because of his own negligence.
Interesting. I see.
This personal involvement could also appear to be a lack of impartiality. You must know that a good surgeon must remain neutral.
I agree.
True neutral.
That does not excuse Dr. Ackroyd's behavior. A man who did not even take time to converse with his patient.
Do you think keeping his distance was a mistake?
All I know is that I'm taking care of human beings with desires, hopes, and fears. Not some biological machine comprised of blood, bones, and flesh.
Fair.
Goodbye, Dr. Strickland.
I'm not gonna ever remember these names. I feel pretty convinced about that. Oh, hi.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, madam. Can I help you?
It's my son who needs you, sir.
I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed. How can I help your son?
I'm
Harmo.
Beatrice Goswick, mother of Mortimer Goswick. Could you check on him, please, Dr. Reed? I've heard much of your talents as a physician.
Harmo, hi, welcome to the stream. I hope you had a good day. I've seen this game before, so I'll try to keep quiet about the details. I would appreciate that. Yes, I am as blind can be. All I know is we're a doctor, we're a vampire, and I know it's possible to finish the game without killing NPCs, apart from like the vampire hunter boys. That's all I really know, and the time period. So I'm like so blind in it's almost funny.
Also seems it's that time again.
It's already that 7 months. Tarmo, that's a lot of months. Thank you. Thank you for the subscribing. Much that is hugely appreciated. Thank you very much. Damn. Thank you. Okay. Again, I'm gonna need to get to get used to the that your life in London is the main topic of like general conversation. It's an interesting choice.
What can you tell me about yourself, Mrs. Goswick?
Not much to say. Just take care of my Mortimer and I'll cover all the expenses. That's all that matters.
Okay, what are you doing in your life?
May I ask if you have an occupation, Mrs. Goswick?
I don't know
I'm
what.
a teacher by profession. I teach young women who are more ambitious about their futures than their families.
Okay.
Do you require medical attention as well, Mrs. Goswick?
I have other concerns right now, Doctor. But I'm fine, thank you.
What do you think of your reception here? Any complaints?
I have had the uttermost reservations about this hospital since we arrived. But we had no other choice, considering the state of emergency.
Is there something in particular that's bothering you?
Some of the staff were not especially welcoming. I suspect they're not accustomed to dealing with patients of such social standing.
I'm still thinking like what's the best webcam spot. Because on the center left it shows the hint acquired thing. So the UI is busy. Give us a second. There. We'll see if this works. I'm trying to always remember like where because obviously it's not on my TV. Tell me about your arrival. Where were the drugs going?
Tell me more about your arrival at the Pembroke Hospital. What gave you such a bad
It might work.
The ambulance driver was quite rude, for a start. And that nurse, Miss Hawkins, seems to have quite a dubious attitude.
It's basically just
She managed to secure a bed for my son despite the epidemic. It was a relief, but it wasn't cheap.
Like lower left, lower right is not a bad idea either. I have sometimes it's basically just a personal choice of like center level is also not a terrible place to be in. It's She charged you?
She charged you for a bed?
Yes, and I paid without question, considering the urgency of the situation.
I see.
I share your concern, Mrs. Goswick. Be sure that I'll talk to the people involved.
I don't expect compensation, Dr. Reed. But I'm aware such behavior would not be tolerated in other hospitals.
What can you tell me about yourself, Mrs. Goswick?
Not much to say.
Are you really that rich? Most of the patients here are of a more humble origin, if I may say so.
Yes. Thanks to my husband. May he rest in peace. I can cover any needed medical expenses.
I'm just like checking off, you know, dialogue choices. This was not a... Okay.
Goodbye, Mrs. Goswick.
But yeah, like lower corners are probably also not in any way bad as such, but I've usually just like chosen to be middle. It sort of fits better with... It's just a personal aesthetic choice, you know? Loading, apparently. Not sure why. I just pressed the dialogue.
Good evening. I'm Dr. Reed. Can I help at all?
No,
Really?
Interesting.
Why are you here then?
I don't want to talk. My throat hurts too much.
I suppose that this pain is the reason you're here. Is someone taking care of you?
Yes. And no.
Could you at least tell me your name, sir?
Mortimer. Mortimer Goswick.
Okie dokie.
Do you need any help?
I'm afraid I may, sir. I don't mean to be a burden.
It's Harry Potter out. I have so not like watched Harry Potter movies. I didn't even think of that. But yep, the glasses do fit. Do I have medicine? Oh, it doesn't highlight the option because I don't have anything.
I will see you later.
Okay, a medicine for what? Okay.
Why did your mother have you hospitalized here? She seems convinced this is a bad hospital.
My mother just wants the best for me. She won't rest while I'm here. She'd go all the way to hell and back to help me.
Okay.
Is your mother bothering you? As your doctor, I can ask her to leave you alone if you would prefer.
That's tempting, Doctor. But you have no idea what my mother is capable of. She would tie herself to my bed if you asked her to leave.
Pembroke Hospital may look unorthodox, but rest assured you're in good hands here.
It's not me you have to convince, Dr. Reed. It's my mother.
I see. How painful? Talk to me in length about how painful the throat is. Yes.
How painful is your throat, Mr. Goswick?
Because
So
the throat
painful,
hurts.
I'd rather not talk at
Yeah.
all, Doctor.
I mean, if he probably doesn't know anything else and it hurts. So
I'll let you get some rest then.
Good evening, sir.
okay, if I find medicine, that's basically the thing to do with that one. Hi.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. May I help you?
I don't know if a third opinion is needed. Your colleagues are already arguing about my condition.
I see. Would you mind telling me more about
Yes,
your situation?
I am the expert of blood
All I want is to get me bloody
transfusions
arm fixed
via
properly.
teeth. Yes. It'll help great.
Tell me about the doctors who are arguing about your case.
Strickland and Aykroyd. They both want the best for me, but there's a lot of pride there. Doctors are no different from carpenters, it seems.
What do you mean?
I often had professional arguments with rivals on a building site. Difference is, I disagreed about wooden nails, not flesh and bones.
Right.
Are you satisfied with your treatment here?
Well, it's clear that I've chosen a bad time to be injured. Forgive my bluntness, but you seem overwhelmed by cases of the flu.
I won't lie to you about it. I'm afraid we are.
Are you sure you don't want to operate yourself, Dr. Reed? I have the feeling you're very capable. And your colleagues seem to think so too.
In other circumstances, you would be right. But for now, I don't think I can take on the responsibility. My apologies.
How exactly do you do the other part of the transfusion once you've done the first? Well, I haven't gotten to that part yet, but I still feel that that's a great first step to go. It's like we're halfway there, and I'm a glass half full kind of guy. Yes.
Tell me about yourself, Mr. Fiddick.
I'm just a regular guy waiting to get his arm fixed, so I can return to work and to my family.
I was more curious about what you were doing before being hospitalized.
I'm a carpenter, and a good one too. But that means I need both arms to feed my family, Dr. Reed.
Is there anything else that's bothering you? Can I help in any way?
I'm all right. Considering the state of this place, I should consider myself lucky, I guess.
Why feel guilty about your injury?
Tell me about your injury, Harvey.
Swear to me.
Why do you feel so guilty about it?
My wife died because of me. And now I may lose everything because I've been careless enough to hurt myself. What an arsehole.
Exactly. Step 1, suck blood. Step 2, step 3, profit. Yep, exactly.
How could your job be responsible for your wife's death?
I was working a double. She went out to bring me a hot meal and got caught in a German bomb raid.
Oh. Still here lurking, just hosting a virtual back-to-school book bash for a friend. I see. Hey, and lurking is also much appreciated, thank yous for every kind of thing. Yes, lurking, chatting, all the good, all things help. Yes.
You can't hold yourself responsible for your injury, Mr. Fiddick, unless you tried to hurt yourself.
Of course I didn't hurt myself. But I can't work until my arm is fixed. My children need to eat, Doctor.
I could mesmerize him, but again, they're mostly just about the death of your wife.
Swear to me.
Tell me more about the death of your wife, Harvey.
1915. I was in the army. Building workshops.
Kids go bonkers over books. That sounds good.
Helen was happy I wasn't sent to the front.
Not many kids probably do that.
The Germans sent Zeppelins to bomb the construction site, but they missed their target.
I didn't.
My wife was
comic books, sure, but
the bombs fell.
Are your children all right?
How are your children after losing their mother?
They were smaller then. The only good thing about this is my Helen didn't bring them with her that night.
I'm sorry for your loss. So many died during the bombings. I served in France and witnessed the carnage there.
I would like to say that she didn't suffer. Truth is, I have no idea. I just know that I'm all that me kids have. Poor little bleeders.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Fiddick. I'll see you later.
Must be from watching me read all the time, although they deem it cool for now. Okie dokie. Let's hope that sticks. Ooh, unfinished letter. Pembroke Hospital, 2nd of November. My dear children, sorry I did not write to you before, but it hurts like hell just to write these few words on bloody paper. Don't worry, Daddy will go out of the hospital as soon as the doctors fix his arm. In the meantime, if you need something, go see Mr. Chadwick. We had a joke about Chadwick Boseman being one of the characters. Oh god, at the construction site, and so that's a really funny coincidence. At the construction site, and tell him that you are Harvey Fiddick's children. You remember Robert Chadwick, the big guy with a mustache who helped me repair the house doors last spring. Go see him and ask for a few bob. He He won't refuse to spare you a few. I'm sorry I can't work anymore for now, but we'll figure out something as soon as I'm out. Don't worry, everything will be fine as soon as Daddy's arm is strong again, as soon as the doctors have fixed my arm. Aye. Okay. Oh! More hints. Let's do this.
Good evening, Mr. Fiddick.
Good evening, Dr. Reed. Any news about my operation?
Swear to me.
You seem worried about the safety of your family. And it's obviously the reason why your wound troubles you so much.
I cannot give up on my children now. They both need me living.
What about their mother, if I may ask?
She died in 1915 during one of the first Zeppelin raids.
I know.
We never found her body.
Interesting. So, it seems that the dialogue sometimes is not quite fully, like, two different branches of the dialogue gave me similar information, but they don't interconnect between each other, so they gave the same information largely in a way that the game doesn't recognize as being told to me already, you know? Like, yeah, I didn't know the exact, like, spot or what, like, there might have been the exact year or something, but still. Fine.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Fiddick. I'll see you later.
I will not let you down, my boy.
Okay, he's not a talker, I see. I'll just take the stuff, thank you. Oh, I have a reflection. So this is the vampires have reflections kind of a game. I see. Hospital full. Due to the influenza, this hospital can no longer take any patients. Hospital full, please go back home. Damn. Like, it does happen today as well in some parts of the world, but still, damn. Damn, damn, damn. I think I've talked to... Have I had a word with you? That's Ackroyd. Crane. Mortimer Goswick. Beatrice Goswick. Harvey. Thoreau Strickland. Yep, seems like it. Cool. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Unknown. Hi.
Good evening. I'm Dr. Reed. Always a pleasure to meet a colleague, sir. Especially when he was supposedly dead.
A colleague? Are you a doctor too?
Not anymore, sir. I used to be Dr. Rakesh Chadana. Now, I'm just Mr. Chadana, pawnbroker and humble guardian of this morgue.
What do you mean, you used to be a doctor? Was your license revoked?
No, sir. It is just that I like to be precise. I run a little pawn shop while taking care of the dead. But I used to be a real doctor.
So you quit being a doctor because your dream is to run a pawn shop. I mean, if you know, to each their own, but interesting.
Do you need medical attention?
I'm feeling all right, doctor. But perhaps it is because I, too, am used to the smell of the dead.
Do you work here alone?
Yes, very easy work, sir. All I have to do is watch a few bodies. The situation was very different when the main morgue was still open.
Is the morgue just, like, full?
Why close the hospital's main morgue?
It was for sanitary reasons after the beginning of the epidemic. Cadavers had to be moved to the nearest mass grave.
Why do you have to watch these bodies?
Because these poor fellows have no names. We keep them in case someone comes looking for the missing. Sadly, very rarely happens.
Have we met before?
I don't think so, sir. Why?
When we first talked, you said you were glad to meet me since I was reported dead.
Funny story, sir. Your sister came here a few nights ago.
Oh.
You were missing, and she was looking for your body. She must be very relieved now.
She's very relieved of her life. So, you know... right. That happened.
Are you afraid or uneasy being surrounded by so many corpses?
Why should I? These bodies are empty vessels. Flesh left to decay. Poof. No soul anymore. All gone.
Most people fear dead flesh.
An interesting point of view. And quite an exotic one, too. Most people fear, or at least have a respect, for dead flesh.
Sir, as a medic during the war, I learned to face my death and the death of others. It's the pain we have to tame, not death itself.
Interesting.
How did you get this job?
After I left the army, I worked as an undertaker down by the docks. A dangerous place with many an unpleasant business there. Milton Hooks helped me get a job here.
I'm still hazy on, like... So you were an undertaker, and then you got a job here, but at some point before you were a doctor, but it's still... Interesting.
A pawnbroker? I expect you get all types of people here.
Yes, sir. All kind of people. For I sell all kind of goods.
Do you have an Xbox Series X?
Who comes here to trade with you? It's very unhygienic, even unsafe. Diseases can spread. For the customers, for the hospital.
I'm very cautious, sir. I've been a doctor, remember? And all my clients are good people. In fact, I think I only know good people.
A disease doesn't care if you're good people or not. That doesn't matter.
What kind of goods?
With the quarantine, it's not always easy to buy things. So I trade, I exchange. Some people sell, some others buy. I like to help.
Okay. You believe in life after death. Swear to me.
Since you're not afraid of dying, do you believe in life after death, Rakesh?
No. I believe we must do all the good we can while alive. For our time is short, and the obstacles are endless.
Do you think you would enjoy immortality as a concept?
I don't think so. Don't mistake me. I love life, and I'd like to live a long life. But everything has to decay, sir. Even goodwill.
Okay.
Do you really believe goodwill cannot last?
As I said, sir, everything decays. If I was to never die, goodness, I would be bored or worse. And I like to be helpful, sir.
Quite depressing, wouldn't you say?
Yes, but the good news is, we'll all die before losing our humanity, sir.
It isn't like as the game wondered about immortality, like at the very intro or something about how, you know, sweet kiss of death is, you know, not a curse as such. So, like if like with the caveat that if you would have the mental capacity to withstand the burdens of living forever, or like, you know, thousands upon thousands of years, it might be worth it. So, you know, you know, live long enough to see the Game of Thrones books finished and so on.
So you're ready to die?
No, I'm not. I don't fear death, for I won't see it. What troubles me is the pain my death will inflict to those I know.
You're a wise man, Mr. Chidana.
No, Dr. Reed. I am a foolish man. But I like to think otherwise.
Okie dokie. What do
Please show me what you have to sell.
Of course. It's just trinkets and curios, really. But I'm sure they can be useful.
Let's see. Well, not a lot. An enigmatic formula. Written on a piece of paper which seems complex and needs to be analyzed. Opium, sure. And codeine. Wow. When he said pawnbroker, I didn't think codeine, opium, and a formula. For some reason, I thought it would be like I don't know, pieces of a clock or something, you know, an old jewelry box, or you know, that doesn't say pawnbroker to me. I mean, I have the money to buy the formula. Do I need this stuff? I mean, I'm curious. Sure. Boom. 15, so I can't buy both of them if I want to. I could sell him a watch, bottle of alcohol, small bottle, small bag of junk. I have no idea what, like, when it says recycled, this is a good, like, what sort of stuff can we put them in? I can sell aluminum. I'll worry about selling later, okay? Okay. So it might be time to actually find the office, you know? 46 minutes into the... Oh. Or not. Where is that lady? I realize it's a lot of I think I haven't talked to Pippa yet either.
Good evening, nurse.
Good evening, Doctor. I don't think we've been introduced yet.
True.
My name is Pippa Hawkins.
And I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed. Dr. Swansea has recently offered me a position in this hospital.
Well, it's a euphemism that your help will be appreciated, Doctor.
That is a look of a person who's quite done with the Tuesday.
How would you describe the situation at the Pembroke Hospital?
It's serious. The flu is wreaking havoc amongst the staff and patients. We are running out of everything.
Okie dokie. I've generally been of the opinion that immortality would be desirable if I had a few other people I actually like to also wouldn't die. Living forever without that kind of stability is not something I'm certain I'd enjoy, but maybe I still... Yeah, it's... I feel like sometimes I feel like the rejection of immortality in, like, you know, thought experiments may in part also be relying upon the notion that we can't live forever anyway, so we might want to try to sort of argue to ourselves why we wouldn't want it anyway, because we can't have it. I'm just wondering if that's a part of why, you know, people, like, you know, dismiss the idea. I don't know is the answer, and I don't think we can know. Like, you know, something's part of the issue. I think so too. But we can't know if we would enjoy it. Or, I mean, enjoy it is a very relative term. Like, are we enjoying life now? Like, not in relation to the pandemic or in our individual moments, like in the year this year, in the year last year. Did we enjoy life in October of 2014, whatever was then? Or in January of 1992, like it's gonna be ups and downs like anything is. So enjoying immortality in a way would probably be the wrong question to even ask, maybe. So it's more like, would we be able to maintain sanity and maintain our, like, willingness to exist or something in, like, the long term or whatever. But, like, even in our decades of life, we have very much ups and downs, and depending on individuals, it's either enjoyed or not enjoyed. Like there's like if you're immortal but have like no limbs or have insane amounts of pain or something or a combination of those, would you then enjoy immortality? Probably no. Like it's all a matter of circumstance and individual, right? And we can't know because it's so impossibly hard to fathom, like even 10,000, 5,000, 1,000 years of living, because our mood and our happiness changes so much even within 1 year, let alone 2, 3, or 300. So the question is so vast that it's kind of hard to fathom. I think, at least. The Spanish flu won't last forever, which is true.
Nurse Hawkins, the Spanish flu
would agree.
won't last forever.
Right.
Even the Black Plague didn't kill everyone.
I wish I could believe you. But what if this epidemic was worse?
Damn,
What
son.
if in the end, nobody was spared?
Like, I could believe that people have been asking questions like that of themselves, of the epidemic or pandemic now. Like, it's really interesting to have a game, like, again, really focus on this stuff. Many games do, to an extent, as I mentioned before. Like, Dishonored has the Weeper Plague, and all the zombie games have the zombie virus, and this has the Spanish flu, and Plague Tale has the plague. The Black Plague, the bubonic one. AC Odyssey even has plague, cities even. It's like diseases are in every game, and like, just don't pick up on them until it's close to home, you know? Not in every game, but in many games. But yeah. It is pretty chilling in a way, or like a feels like a goosebumpy, you know, to have these kinds of conversations in a game that was made in 2018, so just before you know, any of this our stuff started happening. So damn, timely, just before. See, okay. I am so far in this game, I'm under the understanding that it is beneficial to exhaust every dialogue option. That's how you gain the hints and so on, right? Like their mood of you doesn't change by the way you talk to them. So if this was a game of consider how polite you are, or like talking to a real person, I wouldn't say, get a grip, rawr, but I'm exhausting all of the dialogue options. So if I also choose the rude options, that's why it's not a yes.
You must get a hold of yourself, nurse.
Sorry, I'm exhausted. No one has any idea when this epidemic will be over.
Nurse for how long?
How long have you been a nurse?
Well, long enough to see that the epidemic is winning. And no matter how qualified you are, don't tell me you'll change that.
You're right. When dealing with such a terrible disease, one must remain humble. But that doesn't mean we shouldn't try our best.
Sorry, Doctor. I don't want to sound bitter, but I'm just too tired to give a pep talk like Nurse Brannigan.
I thought I was giving a pep talk, not the other way around.
How is the Pembroke staff coping with the epidemic?
Well, not well. Milton, the ambulance driver, is even more grumpy than usual, especially concerning doctors.
Yeah, why? And actually, why practitioners?
Why does Milton dislike doctors?
I don't know. Just ask him. But be warned, Milton is not the chatty type.
I've had chats with him.
Why is Milton grumpy on a daily basis? Is it just an act?
Milton's not the kind of man who's bothered about a bad reputation, whether he deserved it or not.
Okay.
Where were the drugs going?
Pepper,
Swear to me.
I know you're very close to Milton Hooks.
Yes. Milton Hooks is my man. If you want to report me for that, just feel free, Doctor.
I have no intention of reporting you, Nurse Hawkins. But are you aware of the risks?
The rules say I won't be allowed to work as a nurse anymore. But here at the Pembroke, we break rules all the time.
Is he worth the risk?
Hey, I'm no perfect woman, and Milton is not the finest bloke. But we do our best to get by. That's all any of us can hope for nowadays.
Honestly, if that creates happiness, go for it. Or like an attempt thereof. I don't... Sure. Oh! That's true. Because I learned this from the good God, my name memory is terrible in the best of times, and now my brain is foggy. So let's see. The mom of Mortimer, whatever her name was.
Milton cheats patients out of their money at this hospital, Pippa. Are you his accomplice?
Yes, I am.
Is this your definition of being useful? By abusing the sick and poor?
No. It is my definition of getting out of this useless life once and for all.
Why?
Why do you do it?
Why not? Most of the sick who paid for a bed are already dead, or will be soon. Don't you see the futility of all this?
How can you be affected by the misery around you, and be so heartless at the same time? Which is the real you, Nurse Hawkins?
I could ask you the same question, Dr. Reed. Are you more real when you lie to a dying patient, or when you grant him useless medication?
Interesting.
Whose idea was it?
What difference does it make? We did it together, and I'm guilty as charged.
Answer my question.
It was my idea first, even though Milton would say it was his, to protect me.
Interesting. So do I do something about this, or... I could talk to Milton again, but I don't know, is it going anywhere if I go back and forth there? Also, have I... No. Hi! You look, like you've had a weekend.
Good evening, miss. I'm Dr. Reed, the new surgeon at the Pembroke Hospital. And who are you?
Your name has no meaning to me, mortal. You're nothing but dust blown by the winds of eternity.
I beg your pardon?
What are you begging for, mortal? My clemency? Well, tonight maybe I'm inclined to mercy. You'll never forget the night you met Thelma Howcroft.
You keep calling me mortal. Why is that? And if I'm mortal, what are you?
Well, Dr. Reed, if you must know, I'm a vampire.
Are you now?
And why do you believe you're a vampire?
I don't need to believe anything. It is what I am. It is what I feel within this hollow shell of flesh.
The voice actress sounds familiar. Like, she's probably in Witcher 3 or something. What's her name again? Thelma Howcroft. I don't know if it's the same one, but her voice reminds me a lot of Witcher 3's Philippa Eilhart, if you've played the game.
Please, describe
listen.
to me how you feel. What is it like to be a vampire?
I can hear my body crumble from the inside as my flesh cracks and fades. I sense the last pulse of pustulant blood within my drying veins. I need new blood.
I have no idea if it's the same lady, but it has similar auditory qualities to it. So that reminds me of that. That's why I find it sounding familiar.
I see. Have you ever heard of Cotard syndrome, Miss Howcroft?
Never.
It's a mental illness discovered by a French neurologist named Jules Cotard. The affected patients are delusional. They believe that they are putrefying, that they are dead, a ghost or a ghoul, or in your case, a vampire.
Delusional, you say?
Hmm.
Oh, sad and petty mortal. You can't even begin to understand the concept of immortality.
I
And you
just said
think
that.
It is I who am delusional.
We literally just had this conversation 5 minutes ago, lady, with chat. So don't.
I'm assuming you must be a patient here. Am I right, Miss Howcroft?
It's only a cover. To hide from my enemies. I can leave whenever I want. As a woman, a spirit, fog, or bat.
Okay, enemies.
Who are these enemies you mentioned? Can you describe them?
I cannot say for sure. But I sense their eyes on me from nearby. I feel them watching me every time I visit the garden near the morgue.
Oh, okay,
The staff here are not your enemy. They're here to help you, to care for you.
I'm not speaking of the doctors in white. I'm speaking of the men and women who hunt me. For I am a vampire.
I see.
Maybe don't yell about it.
Don't worry. These people will not find you here. I'll personally make sure they leave you alone.
Thank you, mortal. But do not interfere with them, for you are no match for those that hunt me.
I have killed many already, it's fine. Although, you know. Wronged. Oh, are they? Interesting. Who are you really?
Who are you really, Miss Howcroft? I mean, apart from being a vampire.
Is that not enough for you, puny mortal?
Point.
What do you require? Proof of my powers?
Point.
I'm curious to know who you were before becoming a vampire.
It was such a long time ago, I don't remember. Centuries of unholy life can have strange effects on one's minds, you see?
Point. She actually might be something. Like, not only because, like, I'm one, but just hear me out. When we went into this dialogue screen with the personal question, and that was the one that was unlocked because we got the hint for it, right? And we haven't had a...
And why do
oh, sorry.
I don't...
We haven't had a... let's see. We got a hint, and hints lead to the swear to me dialogue options, right? And we went there, and this was the one that was unlocked, but it was a normal conversation, a normal dialogue choice instead, not a blue swear to me, which would hint that she actually is not like a normal human, I think, maybe. So she might be onto something here. She could be both a vampire and a bit crazy.
I'll leave you, Mistress of the Dark, to your nocturnal activities.
Swear to me. I mean, it just comes to mind. It's, you know.
I wonder why the Goswicks came here in the first place.
There we go. Okay, are we getting closer to... Oh, this one. Where is... She's like behind a wall, but I can't... Does the map have an indoor quality to it? Swear to meets. Exactly. Oh, it's a locked door, though.
I cannot enter.
That's later, whatever that is. Okay. Okay, okie dokie. Have you ever been at the ward overnight for like a few days? I have. It's you know, it isn't uncomfortable, but it gives perspective on stuff for sure. Because you know, at least where I was at a ward, the people around me like had like, you know, 50% of them had like, you know, some sort of cancer, and I'm like, oh. Well. And we're like, you know, coming from surgery involving those cancers, or in one case had learned from the cancer during a procedure, and then was that
It's locked up.
Wow. I'm debating about not reading these, but I'm sort of interested. So like if it, oh god, that's Okay, we're gonna try the lower right corner. I like to be in the center if I can, just as a personal choice, but I forgot that that's a... Yeah. That's very true. Okie dokie, long letter. Yeah, you're telling me. Birmingham, 27th of October. Hello, sis. How are things in the big city? Here in Brum, things are not so good. It seems the flu is here again, and we have many new cases of infection in the neighborhood. Do you remember Miss Scheller, the old drinking hag from the 3rd floor? She passed away 2 days ago, and her flat is already occupied again. Jeez. You would have to pay me a huge amount of money to go sleep in the bed in which a woman died of the flu just a few hours ago. Sorry I did not take time to quickly answer your last letter. Between taking care of little Paul, Mom, Dad, and my job at the factory, I rarely find time to write to my favorite sister. By the way, my son says hello to his Auntie Pippa. You should see the little bugger, already driving me mad, and Mom says you bring back some of those marvelous cakes the next times you come back home. In your last letter, you told me you thought about quitting your job at the Pembroke Hospital. I have to tell you, Pip, you better think twice. There are always jobs at the factory, but wages are shit, and it's as boring as day without a shag. Oh, I have a new fiancé, and no, I'm no slut, you moral bitch, you. Okay. Sure. So, if you really want to quit and do something more useful than counting the dead every morning, maybe you better stay in London and join that band you told me about. The Guard or Priven, something like that. Never heard of them, but if they are, like you said, some sort of civil militia trying to make a difference, then maybe it's a good choice for you. Just be sure to let the others go in front. That's how my poor Billy got killed in France by leading too many patrols. Bloody war. Anyway, come back as soon as you can and give me all the good news before that. I am your affectionate sister, Lucy, Paul, Mom, and Dad. So... I believe it's like the privy or the privy or something was the thing. So is she thinking of joining the vampire hunters? Is that what we're like dealing with here? Give me a minute. There was Priwen, yeah.
Right.
That's a turn. We need to have a talk about this because I've killed many of your brethren. They suck, and then I sucked their blood. Badum-tsh. Pippa, listen. Hear reason. Yes.
My blood and soul, they belong to you now.
The life running in your veins.
I'm puzzled why sometimes the dialogue seems to have a loading screen in them.
Dark Queen, spare your obedient slave.
Good evening, Nurse
That's
Hawkins.
puzzling to me.
Good evening, Dr. Reed.
Okie dokie. And yep, you can see the dialogue choices. Good. Good. Leaving this hospital.
Pepper, are
Swear
you
to
sure
me.
you want to leave this hospital?
To become a nurse was a little girl's dream. But in the end, I don't feel that useful. I want more. I want to make things change.
What do you mean unacceptable? Don't you mean unacceptable? Or was like 1918 English unacceptable? I mean, it's, it's been 100 years, so maybe. I don't know. Again, earlier in the game called a photo a photography of a couple. And I have to imagine the devs who made Life is Strange seasons 1 and 2 know the word a photograph. I have to assume that that's the case, so it must be intentional. So they might go for olden English, but I don't know if... yeah.
You should be proud of what you've achieved. This hospital...
Isaac, thank you for the follow. Much appreciated.
Maybe you're right. But at the moment, I feel like we're just a cemetery waiting room.
You want to be more useful.
What steps are you prepared to take to feel more useful?
Swear to me.
My sister believes that the real fight is in the streets nowadays. Maybe she's right. Maybe this is what I must do.
If you feel that saving lives is not useful enough, perhaps it means that you've lost faith.
On the contrary, my faith has never been stronger. Maybe we are all just too proud to face up to the fact that science cannot compete with God.
Unless it's Mother Nature, but it's...
And what about Milton Hooks? Does he share your point of view?
For Milton, any change means more comfort and more peace. I disagree.
Okay. That's an odd answer.
Goodbye, Nurse Hawkins.
Okay, Milton! Milton, can we have a word? Where are you? Milton, hi. Hi.
Good evening, Milton.
Good evening, Doctor. Still trying to save lives?
Well, maybe.
Why do you have such a mediocre reputation among your colleagues, Milton?
Why does everyone hate you?
Nobody knows the horrors I've seen since working here. This city was sick long before the epidemic, Dr. Reed.
I know it's a difficult task, but correct me if I'm wrong. Is this not the job you are paid to do?
I've seen babies left to die while their brothers were properly fed. Underage girls and boys sold to all manner of perverts.
I'm sorry, I don't know what to say.
Yeah, exactly. We lack words. So excuse me if I don't look on the bright side of life.
Oh. Okay.
Do you know that Nurse Hawkins is thinking of leaving the hospital?
That's not a surprise. We've talked about it already.
Does it not bother you?
Sometimes I think she may be right. We should run away while we can. Question is, where can we go? Where is it safe?
Wherever the elves went in Lord of the Rings. Nurse Hawkins is your partner in crime.
Admit it.
Where are the
Nurse
drugs going?
Hawkins is more than your lover. She's also your partner in crime.
Of course she is. How else could I tell which bed is free? I need to know that.
Have you no shame?
Don't you see this city is crumbling down? Today people are ready to pay to get a hospital bed. Tomorrow we may be fighting for food.
And that somehow means you're allowed to extort people for money to get hospital beds. See, I am taking their money because they are falling apart and might fight for food later. What? I was expecting something a bit more like morally grey, you know? I don't know. Odd. The personal question bar is white there, but all of these are checked out already.
Goodbye, Milton.
There might be a different choice under one of those or something, but I don't know. It's a little weirdly put together if that's the case. Let's see if I can finally... Ah, I see. Go to my office. Like I have earned my trip to the office. I hope. But yeah, the Thelma Hawcroft lady, again, the hint at the dialogue choice didn't come up as blue, so there could be something to her, for sure.
It's locked.
I see.
Not now.
But I want to have a word. I just hacksaw, sure, yeah, I'll take it. Elwood's medical file. Patient Thomas Elwood, male, age 28, followed by Dr. Tippett. Status convalescence. Admission September 16th. Date of release to be determined. Note: the patient's face has been heavily burned and disfigured by a bomb during the war. Even with the use of the strongest sedatives, he affirms to regularly endure severe pain from the wounds. As if the flames are still burning under the skin, he says. Examinations of the cicatrized tissues show no trace of inflammation, infection, or swelling. Scars are clean. Could it be a case of persisting nerve damage? Yeah, I thought about that, but I'm not a doctor, so I was like, I didn't want to say anything. The patient never ceases to blame himself for his disfiguration. Could it be a case of guilt of the survivor? Phantom pain manifesting as a punishment for not dying with his comrades. I don't know. Like, I'd vote nerve pain, but, you know. But then again, the catch my drift part of his dialogue was sort of like, it felt, I don't know. It had a psychological tilt to that wording, but...
I cannot enter.
Wow! They had my name plaque ready on my, like, first hour of being here. Because, like, this has been here then, like, the moment I showed up here. That's impressive. They are quick with these things. There we are. Hideout. You just found a new hideout. Here you can spend your XP while resting or craft items at the workbench.
This must be the place. It's definitely away from prying eyes. Relegated to the shadows. A kingdom of my own. At least I won't be sleeping in a coffin.
Right.
The flower's dying. It needs water.
How do I water? Ugh. Okie dokie. Well, get a comfortable position. Here we go. Article of Econs. It is a rare opportunity and almost a privilege to approach a vampire to observe their most intriguing physical and psychological traits with a scientific and rational eye. Here are some of the most fascinating abilities I've personally observed over the last 10 years while interviewing a few vampires, or Econ as they prefer to call themselves. Supernatural speed. A vampire can act and move like a mortal in all his actions, but the trained eye will spot that they have the keenest senses and can react quicker than any mortal. On a few occasions, alarm, surprise, necessity to flee, I've seen a vampire move so quickly it is almost as if he had vanished to just reappear somewhere else. The human eye cannot follow their movements when they act so quickly, but it is not a teleport or dematerialization. It is only a supernatural speed. For me, it is a cat-like attribute, which allows them to run, dodge, or jump longer and faster than us. I also noticed that such speed seems to exhaust them, and that they are bound to physical limitations. Mesmerism. One of the most powerful abilities a vampire can deploy is the capacity to force a mortal to obey them. I call this trait mesmerism, but it has nothing to do with the mortal ability to alter a subject's mental state. A vampire can bend a mortal to their will, and they can even break a mind. A vampire I interviewed even told me the more a subject tries to resist, the more permanent the damage will be, as if the vampire could literally fracture the target's psyche. The same vampire explained to me that this ability required time to master, and that the result could vary widely from one subject to another. Implant a false memory, erase a painful one, the possibilities are endless and frightening. Blood awareness. This may be the most catastrophic ability of all, concerning vampires since it is the cause of so many tragedies for them and us. Vampires crave for blood. They must use their will to restrain themselves from frenziedly drinking every drop of blood they can see. They need blood to function and to express their full supernatural traits. A famished vampire can be very weak, even if he cannot die of hunger or thirst. This urge, this need for blood, may explain why a vampire is so aroused by it. A vampire confessed to me that blood could sometimes blind him since its smell and attractiveness can be so strong. When he focuses, a vampire can almost see blood all around them, inside warm bodies, through walls, on a supposedly clean weapon, etc. The same vampire even told me that he can see if a mortal has clean blood or is ill, and that in some cases he can even sense diseases, infected clothes, or even items in a room. If this is true... What? If this is true, it could have so many medical applications it almost beggars belief. I'm sure I did not press anything. I think the game has a tendency of booting me into the menu if I don't move or the stuff for a bit, or I don't know. I have a question. I just need to Google a quick thing. Right. I did not remember like when did the word of mesmerizing or originate, but yes, it fits. Cool, good. Because I remember that it came from like Franz Mesmer, but I didn't remember when. So yep, fits. Good. Fits very well. He was a 1700s dude, and 18 as well. Okay, what do I craft? On a workbench, you can craft medical treatments to heal sick, serums to boost yourself, weapon upgrades to improve your customers. Okay. You must first need to analyze the components you found to unlock new recipes. Click on the To Analyze components. Blood sample of William Bishop and the enigmatic formula. Okay. Analyze this one. Does that, like, use anything? Cold, fatigue, anemia, sepsis, pneumonia, and bronchitis. Okay. And this is... Serum for light regeneration serum. Okay.
William Bishop's blood is much more unstable than human blood and shows extensive mutation. But this is not what happened to me. I must keep on searching. The sun is about to rise. I can feel it. I'll continue tomorrow night.
No, I don't wanna.
I have so much time.
Nah. He has so much time. Nah. And then he didn't have time to finish the sentence, though, so... Can I take water for the plant, though? How do I do that? I mean, there's gotta be a way. How do I water...
The flower's dying. It needs water.
Like, there is a sink. How do... I'm confused. Okay, I know that fatigue is something that someone had. I didn't check too well what diseases the people had, and I didn't check if the other dude had like a cold or a bronchitis, for example. I lack the essences as well, but still, I just curious. Yeah, and this is the, yeah, I understand. I'll check the upgrading parts a little, like, because I haven't checked, like, what does the used hacksaw feel like. It's the same speed as the other one, more damage, but uses more stamina as well. Maybe. But I need to check the, like, I need to see if the, like, movement set is something that works. But I feel like I should check how to water the plant, because I did a quick check of the achievements and I do know that's one of them. Ah, crap. Give us a second. I think I have it like decently close. Let's see. This is my gripe with storytelling games in a video medium. We're good at telling stories together. Uh-huh. Oh, give us a minute. It'll take me just a second to find it. Shouldn't be too difficult. Ah. There is a... I feel like I saw one. I just that's the there. Just another reason access building and pure water. Oh, it's not. Okay, it's right. Got a different thing. In a tabletop storytelling game, GM would be like, you know, there's a plant that needs water. They would be like, is there any water nearby? It there's a sink, okay, bucket of some sort. Maybe dice are low to see whatever, but it's not. But it's honestly, there's, you know, like you're not wrong, but it's also a question of at some point one needs to ship a game with the interactable things that are interactable, you know? Like, it's... Like, a do-anything game is very costly and time-consuming to make, and there's always limitations to it. Like, it just can't be a full freedom concept. Like, I see the point, like, it's... Like, that is a good reason why one would like playing, like, D&D more, like, in a tabletop sense, because it's literally free-form, you know, thinking stuff, right? So, it is kind of the thing we choose to sort of accept when we go into a game, that we just can't, you know, use our own logic or ask a follow-up question that we want to follow the thing. It's that's a fair point. That is true, and that is like it's theater of the mind. Yeah. That's a good way to put it. But it's every art medium has different kinds of limitations to it, whereas at least in immersive storytelling, this is still better than, or like more freedom-esque than books or movies, right? And then in the D&D setting, I would imagine that the ask is to like that the player would from the get-go need to have some how can I put this? That video games do not require you to have I'm trying to like formulate a point that I'm not sure it makes sense yet. Like I'm thinking of this as I speak, but it's just like it feels that in terms of an immersive art form, a video game requires less imagination and less, you know, creative, create your own world thinking to tell you an art piece. Whereas playing a tabletop thing, if you lack those skills, then it becomes much less enriched, if that makes sense. So, like, creating a rich and varied idea of the world in a tabletop D&D requires mental capacity in a way that a video game does not. Does that work? That's what I'm like trying to say here. But yes, you are not wrong. That's the point. fair. Creativity is its own kind of exhausting, yes, and not everyone has that, is also the point. But still, like, different art forms, different strokes, different ways of spending time, different pieces of entertainment, they all have their valid, good parts to them. So, yeah. Okay, what can I do? The blood spear. I'm worried about ranged combat being really weird because I think it works just on the lock-on, which I'm worried about. Like, it might be good, it might be bad. Increased health, increased stamina, increased blood capacity. Blood absorption I would super do because yes. Thank you. Because I feel like I need that, like, genuinely. And then the next upgrade from 20% to 40. Yeah, yep, still, I that's my biggest problem in like that, and health is my biggest problem right now, because, yeah. At least in terms of that. Is there anything, you know, bite, hard biting damage, fast regen, medical bag, carry 3 serums. Number of bullets you can carry, as I see. Locked, not a thing yet. Shadow Veil. Fade into the shadows, become invisible. Blah, 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 blah. Right. Might be useful, but I don't know how useful yet, so I'm Bill. We'll see. Maybe. I don't know. Supernatural move at your target and cause damage upon landing. Sure, but I'm actually pretty happy about the claws already, so if it uses blood anyway, it does, so I don't know, maybe later. Coagulation, you will block your target's blood in their veins, making them defense. Oh. 2 seconds control. Cost none, recovery 20. Blood barrier. You create an invisible barrier absorbing direct damage until it fades or is destroyed for 5 seconds. I'm not sure I'll be using that, but we'll see. Stamina, sure. Like, at least 1 sounds reasonable. I'll save the rest until I have a better idea of what I want to do.
If I'm to stay here until my research is complete, I'd better learn to hide my true nature from the mortals. But what about my thirst for blood?
I disagree on the point that some people just don't have it. In my opinion, it's just that they need better prompting. Dungeon World does this nicely in some ways. I'll grab an example. If our characters look, they just provide some brief descriptions that offer. When I say some people don't have it, I mean that, like, there are every kinds of brains in this world, including ones that literally lack the ability to do something. Like, it's very rare, and the scale is very variable. But, like, I didn't mean that, like, you know, 20% of people wouldn't, or third, or whatever. But, like, there's a scale of people, and there are individuals who lack an ability to do something because there's a brain for everything, right? But, like, obviously, there's a huge, vast spectrum of how creativity and imagination works with every person, because brains are also complex, but still. So that's kind of what I tried to say. But, like, not like the people who wouldn't have abilities to really do that are a literal sliver of very few individuals, luckily. But yeah. Okay, but with that said, I need an eating break, so I'll do that right now quickly because it's been a bit. But if you're watching this on YouTube, please do drop a like or a comment if you enjoyed this, and join me here live on Twitch because it's fun. I hope. Yes, maybe. Good. Excellent. And See you next time for YouTube.